Hi guys, welcome to another Hot Jobs with us here at Higher Military. How are you this afternoon? It's lovely to see you. As if you've been here before, you will know this is my favorite 30 minutes of the week, and I'm really glad that you have come to join us today. Give us a shout out, say hello in the chat. I really want to know where you are watching from, and also today, what's your favorite duty station? Where has your favorite assignment been? We were talking about this before we came on, and both Amber and I put our hands up and said that Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota was ours. We're probably the only two people in the world who would ever say that. So as a consequence, we want to know yours too. If you are unfamiliar with our format, we spend the next 30 minutes with you talking through our service deliverables here at Higher Military. And normally we share our newest direct hire positions and our newest SkillBridge internships, but we are shaking things up a little bit today. We do have some opportunities to share with you. However, we are here today and we are coming to you to talk through SkillBridge. We really want to share an awful lot of information and questions that we've been having from our population and the people that we have been working with recently around the SkillBridge internship program, because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there and a lot of information we shared last week when we hosted a career fair with Hire Heroes USA. So many people here today. Amber, Mark, yours was Panama. Kate Wood, one of our recruiters, is in Panama. Somebody else has said they're calling in from San Antonio. Lovely to see you. Fort Sill. Oh, look, Francesca said Holloman was hers. Amber, you've just come from Holloman. Yes, I see Milden Hall and Lakenheath as well. I can attest to the fact that I do enjoy the UK also. So we are here for the whole of the military community, whether you are a spouse, a veteran, or a transitioning service member. We want to support you all. We spend this time with you every single week to be able to share our opportunities, but also to be able to answer any questions that you may have. So today we are very much SkillBridge aligned. However, we are very prepared to and very up for answering any question that you have with regard to the transition from active duty to civilian, or anything in terms of the job application process. If you have any questions at all, or any challenges or obstacles that you would like us to support you on, please do share that information with us today. If we haven't met before, my name is Lucy. I am one of the senior directors here at Higher Military. I am an active duty Air Force spouse, and me and my family, well, my husband is currently stationed at Eielson Air Force Base in the middle of Alaska. So if you are Army and you're familiar with Fort Wainwright, we're just down the road from there. I'm going to hand over to Matt Collins to introduce himself.
Thank you, Lucy. Hey guys, Matt Collins, one of our SkillBridge recruiters here at Higher Military, and a product of SkillBridge, as I tell everyone all the time when I'm interviewing candidates. So I understand the journey. So it's really, really exciting today to talk about this. I'm a 28-year Army veteran myself. I spent the majority of my career in the AGR program, Active Duty Guard Reserve, in the beautiful state of Florida. And I now reside in the beautiful state of Montana, where my wife is from. So really excited to be here today and talk about SkillBridge and all the inner workings of the program. And with that, I will hand it over to Amber Pitkin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amber Pitkin. I am a sourcing coordinator here at Higher Military, working on the SkillBridge team. I am an Air Force veteran, 21 years, and I will officially be retired at the end of August. So I'm super excited about that. I'm also a product of the SkillBridge program here at Higher Military. So I'm super excited to be here. And we are living in beautiful, hot El Paso, Texas. So enjoying the weather, and I will pass it off to Buff.
Hello, everyone. My name is Before Agby, but as Amber alluded to, everybody in my team, they call me Buff. I am a 21-year veteran in the Army as well, served as a combat medic. So any combat medics out there in the healthcare field, cheers. But I am currently located out here at JBLM, Washington, just south of Tacoma. I've been with Higher Military for about a year, and I've only been retired for about 6 months. So I'm a product of the SkillBridge program. Really excited to talk about some opportunities and answer any questions along the way.
So if you are not familiar with our website, let me draw your attention to it now. As you can see at the top of your screen, hiremilitary.us. On there, you will see all of our newest direct hire opportunities, all of our newest SkillBridge internship opportunities, but there is a handy dandy link at the top, which is titled Resources. If you go there and click on the Job Seeker Resources button, you will see all of the articles that me and the marketing team have put together to support you. So as an example, how to target your resume is a great one that I reference every single week, because often we say to you as we're talking through our roles, before you submit an application, make sure you target your resume, make sure you tailor your resume. And we were hyper aware that it's really easy to say that, but what does that actually mean? How do you actually do that? So we have created a really valuable resource for you to be able to do that. There's information about interviewing, how to really construct a great interview answer so that you actually answer the question being asked. Because, you know, I would say 7 or 8 times out of 10, when I am interviewing somebody, they don't answer the question that I have necessarily asked. And that is a red flag. And that means that you don't necessarily go on to the next stage. In addition, we are all here on LinkedIn today. So if you have taken a look at your LinkedIn profile recently and thought, possibly could do with a bit of work, but I haven't got time to do that right now, take a look at how to create an effective LinkedIn profile. We have that piece there. In addition, Mike Quinn, our CEO, every single month, alongside the USO transitions team, delivers a Mastering LinkedIn webinar. It's 2 hours long, so there is a slight time investment there, but I promise you, you won't want that time back, because he really teaches you how to navigate and manipulate this platform for best practice and to really serve you in your transition and your job search.
Hello. I think we had a little bit of technical difficulty with Lucy. She's speaking from abroad, so I'll be happy to take over from here. Again, to go over some stuff, we're going to be talking about some SkillBridge opportunities, what actually SkillBridge is, and then also answer some questions along the way. Matt Collins, I'm going to ask you first. Can you elaborate on what actually SkillBridge is?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, and that's live television, right? So it happens. We move on the fly. So SkillBridge, for those who are just new to this program or trying to learn about it, SkillBridge is a DoD approved program, and it is available across the DoD spectrum to anybody that's 6 months out from the end of your military service, whether it's your first term, 20 years retiring. SkillBridge is a program that exists for you. So if you are 6 months out, 8 months out, 12 months out, now is the time to start exploring that process. Have that conversation with your family as well as your command teams to make sure they understand you want to participate in that program. Really, the key is to start making yourself less and less relevant as you get closer to that retirement date, if that's possible. So, that is what the SkillBridge program is. And then, of course, start really understanding what industry you want to be in. Do you want to do a SkillBridge? Because the intent is obviously to do SkillBridge and then roll that into a full-time career post-military or a full-time job. So is it something you want to do? What industry and where in the country do you want to be? Do you want to be in toasty Texas or in the mountains of Montana, or you want to be by a coast? That all factors into that SkillBridge decision. But ultimately, 6 months out from your ETS, SkillBridge exists for you, and it's a program that's DoD approved. And we're going to talk about it a little more in depth today. It looks like our superstar is back. So Lucy, sorry you left off there, and I will hand it back to you.
I warned you this would happen. You guys, I'm calling in from a million miles over the ocean. As you can tell from my accent, I'm not from the US originally, and I'm currently sat in the UK where it's 7 p.m. and not great internet, obviously. So we wanted to share a lot of information today with you with regard to SkillBridge and really share the questions that we have received recently and the questions that have been posed to us recently, because we just felt it was a really good situational awareness piece for you in terms of having the information that you may not even know to ask in the first place. So we've talked about SkillBridge and what it actually is. So Buff, I'm going to ask you the first question, and really with regard to higher military, not necessarily the DoD SkillBridge internship program, we get asked all the time, does it cost me, the service member, anything to use higher military services? What's your answer?
Quick and easy answer is no, absolutely not. It's free to the service member. It's free to the spouse, and it's free to the veteran. So it's a free service we provide. We have an agreement and relationships with the U.S. military, all services that allow us to navigate the approval process for the service member to engage with employers prior to getting out. So free service, all services, and it's a win-win for everyone.
Thank you. Matt, we often get asked, well, why should I work with a recruiter? Why don't you talk about that from Hire Military's perspective?
Sure, Lucy. And I may be a little biased here, obviously, because I'm a Hire Military recruiter, but we understand the value of that. So for us here at Hire Military, obviously, for one, we're a team of veterans. We're either recently transitioned or retirees or military spouses. So we understand the language and how to translate that language to the private sector and to civilian employers. So that's a huge part of it. Additionally, we're going to assist with that resume piece because we're going to talk about getting your resume across out to that space so employers can see it. We're going to help you, best target that resume as far as the role you're looking to do. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more later on as well. And then, lastly, for a lack of a better word, we're going to help you cut the line because ultimately what we're doing is getting directly in front of these hiring managers, getting you directly in front of these hiring managers so we can have that direct interaction with these companies' recruiters that really gives you that exposure up front so you're not just a name in a database floating out there. So that's one of the huge advantages of working with us, both our military knowledge as well as, the direct access we have to hiring teams.
Thank you. Amber, we often get this one. This is a great one. Well, SkillBridge is only done as a cohort and I can't do it because my dates don't fit. What would you normally say to that?
I love that question. I would say that, yes, there are SkillBridge cohorts out there. However, the great thing about Hire Military is we do not work on cohorts. We actually tailor your SkillBridge to your timeline. So if you're getting out in December, then we would find a SkillBridge program potentially for you that would line up with your dates. We do have some cohorts within our programs like Sprout Social, and Texas Instruments, but those are only a couple. The rest are absolutely all year round and change constantly.
Wonderful. Hey, Buff. So somebody has come to us recently. In fact, we get this an awful lot. Who's basically said, creating my own internship with a company that they've been talking to is just too hard, and they will never get approved. And we are seeing that a lot at the moment, especially with the pause at the DoD SkillBridge internship office. How else can I go about doing this? There isn't an opportunity where I want to go.
Yep, absolutely. Again, I've been at JBLM doing this for a year, and I've seen it done so many different ways. And it happens frequently. Companies are DoD approved, and they're not, and then opportunities, headcount is available, and then it's not. But creating your own internship is something that we can help you with. Absolutely. We're able to partner with companies because that's what we do. And if you have a point of contact, probably the easiest way, if you have a point of contact that has either see that they're part of the LLC or corporation, line us up with a point of contact. We will take it from there, and then you guys will set your dates. We'll draft up your letter of acceptance, and you'll be on your way. Again, no cost to you. An example, Lucy, if you don't mind, I could share. Most recent one that I've done was a dude ranch in Montana. Yes, Matt, it's in Montana. And I was like, how do we do this? We had a business development team, Kristen Lucado, fantastic. They did the admin side to get the start dates. It was a one slot open to be a ranch hand. That was his dream. There was an opening at the end of it, but they weren't DoD approved, so they fell under Hire Military as their umbrella. We did the contract and we did the letter of acceptance, and he's currently there getting a full-time offer, I believe, next month in Montana. So he created his own transition plan, took action, lined it up with a point of contact, and we took it from there.
Thank you. How about this one, Matt? I have to have one perfect resume that I can use for every job, and I just don't know how to go about that.
Right. That's a great question, Lucy. So there's no really such thing as a perfect resume. You're going to create a strong resume, but then just understand that you're going to be constantly tweaking that resume, guys, and tailoring it to the specific opportunity that you're seeking. So there is no such thing as a perfect resume. We all want to build strong resumes, but ultimately you're going to have a resume. You don't need to sweat it because you're going to constantly tailor and tweak that to speak to whatever role that you're applying for. So don't sweat a perfect resume. Just get a strong one.
And on that, Ofer Keith has actually said, and this is a good segue whilst we're in the middle of these questions, that the military to civilian resume piece is so difficult. On paper, they feel like they really don't stand out, but in person, they can easily translate their experience into actionable skills. And I think this thing I would say, Ofer, is, and I'm really sorry if I've butchered your name, I hope I've said it right. It is difficult, but it's not about translating your military experience on your resume. It's actually, if you take a look at the link that I suggested at the very top of this 30 minutes, at how to target your resume on our website, hiremilitary.us, it really teaches you how to create a resume. A resume is not a document that tells somebody everything that you've ever done. It is not your history. It is not a encyclopedia or a Wikipedia entry on you. What it actually is extrapolating your key skills and experience that relate to the role that you are applying to and showing your potential new employer that you have the strength and you are a competitive candidate for that role. And I know when I say that, you go, oh, everybody goes, that's really interesting. That's great. Really easy for you to say, but I don't know how to do it. So what we've actually done in our piece on our website is we've broken it down Cliff's Note style to really show you and demonstrate how to take a job description and create a resume that will be really strong and competitive on your behalf. So I really hope that piece helps. Amber, I've kind of gone on to the next question, which is, why do I actually need a targeted resume for every single job application? This is a good segue.
It is a great segue. So targeting your resume is extremely important when you're looking for a job or a SkillBridge opportunity. Essentially, the job description is out there and the hiring manager is telling you exactly the skills and requirements that are needed for that role. So when you're tailoring your resume, you're telling that hiring manager exactly what skills and, skills that you have that you're bringing to the job. So, and if you don't do that, unfortunately, a lot of hiring managers are going to glance over your resume and you won't, and you'll end up getting a rejection letter.
Thank you. Hey, Buff, we often get this, but I need a degree to do a SkillBridge internship.
Nope, absolutely not. That is false. That is a myth. And basically, you can pull that out of the job description as a requirement. If it's a requirement that says bachelor degree required or preferred, or master's degree required or preferred, that's what you need to have according to the job. But really, we have everything on our database and a lot of other job boards as well that run across the board, from a high school diploma, GED, bachelor's, master's. And then you go in there, the specific requirements, PMP, Lean Six Sigma. If it's IT, you're looking for Python or Linux or CompTIA. So you're looking for those specifics in the job description to pull out for a role. So take a minute and read what's required versus what's preferred. And a degree for SkillBridge is not required for most of them.
Thank you. Matt, we get this an awful lot. I'm already approved for hiring our heroes. Can't I just use that approval for your program?
Yeah, we do, Lucy. And that's a conversation we all had today, right, as a team. So the short answer to that is no. Unfortunately, they are very two different things. So approval for hiring our heroes does not mean you're approved for a SkillBridge internship through us or any other company, right? Separate. We are a host, a partner, a conduit for SkillBridge. So approval for one, and you're still exploring other SkillBridges out there, other SkillBridge internships, means you're still going to have to go back through your command and get another approval if it's outside the hiring our heroes SkillBridge partnership.
Thank you. And the last question we have to share today is, so if I get a SkillBridge internship, but I'm guaranteed a job at the end of it as long as I finish my internship, right?
Oh, I wish that was the case. That is absolutely a myth. However, even though there's not a guarantee that you'll have a job at the end of the internship, there is a high probability that you will, right? So we take pride in the clients, in the partners that we have. that at the end of the SkillBridge internship that they're going to hire you on full-time, given that, you know, you meet all the requirements, you love the job, they love you, but it's not guaranteed. So that's a conversation that you definitely want to have early on at the start of the internship and throughout, just to make sure that you know what's going to happen at the end and you can make the right decisions. And at the end, you might not want to stay, and that's okay. But that's a conversation that you definitely need to have with your team.
Wonderful. So I'm going to go around the room now and ask you guys, if you've all performed SkillBridge, you've all been part of it, and now you teach other people how to utilize the program and you connect people to internships out there in corporate America. If you could talk to yourselves 2 years ago at the start of your transition, 24 months out, but that would only be 12 months out for you because you've been out a year now. I can't believe it. What would you say? What do you wish you'd known before you'd even started? MC, I'm going to go to you first.
Sure. I think the biggest thing that I didn't understand fully early on was just how much sometimes you're going to have to work and get through that command team as far as your approval and have conversations through every level of your chain of command. I know for me, through my SkillBridge program, unique for the AGR program, but throughout the military, having that conversation with your first line leader that your SkillBridge is going to get approved, don't stop there. Be the squeaky wheel and make sure that that command team above that person, all the way through your chain of command, is fully engaged, because a lot of the times it comes down to readiness and force structure and the mood of a commander if they're going to sign off. And depending on the SkillBridge, the timeline, the distance sometimes involved, you're going to need to elevate that approval. So don't just have a casual conversation about SkillBridge. If you're really pursuing it, I tell you, a year out, have that conversation. And then I became a pain to the chief of staff of my state. So they knew who I was because I was on their radar. They may have signed off on mine at some point just to get rid of me. That's okay. If that's the case, whatever it takes to get you out the door, but make sure you have those commands early and often with every level of your chain of command, so you know clarity that, you know, as you come up on your SkillBridge timeline, you've got approval. That would be my one big piece. There's many others, but these guys can tell you. So that'd be one, Lucy.
Thank you. And we've just been asked while we're going through this piece, what's our website? Our website is at the top of this page here. It is hiremilitary.us. All of our information is on there, including all of our SkillBridge internships, our direct hire opportunities, and an awful lot of support information that we have written to be able to help you. Buff, what about you? What would you say to yourself?
It can be overwhelming. The transition, it is flat out. It is overwhelming. Even being 5 months out, I'm still waking up sometimes. Hey, I need to do more. I need to network more. I need to do this more. But I would say prioritize, with your family, with your spouse, bring them in the transition early, saying, once I made the decision to transition, where do we want to go? So making your priorities. Is it location? Is it salary? Is it culture? For me personally, I got to choose the culture. Money, absolutely. That's a number two. Salary is a number two. But my culture, I had 14 different job offers while I was going through various different programs, including higher military. And I didn't see higher military coming. And I'm glad I kept the door open, and I got to choose a culture as I got closer. So prioritizing your list of what you want and what your family wants early on, so you can negotiate or have options as your window closes to find a SkillBridge, and also a job opportunity career is very important. So prioritizing that, I think, is for me.
Amber.
I would say be open to all opportunities. And I say that because you want to, at the end, be able to choose where you're going to go. Like Buff said, culture was very important to him. It absolutely was for me as well. When I started looking, I put all my eggs in every basket. I signed up for every website. I talked to everybody I possibly could. Every program, every class, I did all of it. And at the end of it, I got to choose where I went. And again, like Buff said, I did not see higher military coming. I stayed on top of everything. I constantly checked the website. And when an opportunity arose that interested me, I said, I'm going to apply for that. And I still interviewed with other places while I was interviewing with them. And at the end of it, I fell in love with the culture and the team and the job, and I got to choose at the end. And I'm so grateful for it. So definitely take every opportunity, take every interview, Do not pass anything up because you never know what you're going to come across.
We have had questions while we've been live today, and one of the questions was from Ishmael, who has asked, I'm eligible to start my SkillBridge internship in January. When should I start looking for a role? What do you guys say? What do you think?
Now.
Yeah.
Now is the time.
But guys, can you just share why that might be?
Well, the road to SkillBridge is paved with many obstacles and sometimes disappointments. I think you're going to run into, some of us get lucky. And it was a seamless transition. Now I work with them. I wish I could say the same, but the process sometimes is there's going to be stops and goes and bumps. It won't be a linear process. So the earlier, the better, because there are going to be stops. You're going to be waiting on signatures from command team. And as Amber said, and Buff said, you want to open up and really learn about the different industries to see what you're interested in. It may not be what you're doing now. So early is key.
And somebody else has asked, I think it was Keen asked, I'm eligible for SkillBridge or to transition out in 2026. When should I be opening up that conversation with my leadership? Amber, or Matt, whoever, that would be a great question for you guys.
Now, honestly, I know that leadership changes consistently, and who your leader is today may not be your leader in 2026, but have that conversation now, have it often with your supervision, because at the end of the day, you're the only one who can control the conversation. So let them know what your intention is, let them know why you want to do SkillBridge, do your research, and provide them with the background on what SkillBridge is going to do for you in your future.
Thank you. And as we wrap up today, we've got a couple more minutes. I've seen some comments here that I really want to acknowledge. So a couple of people have asked about direct hire opportunities with us. So Joey and somebody else who I can't see their name. We have huge amounts of direct hire opportunities, but we are recruiters. We are not career counselors. So what we always encourage you to do is go to our website, first of all, and see if we have anything out there that's of interest to you. And if we do, then connect with us. You can connect with any of the recruiters on our team. All of us are on the Hire Military LinkedIn profile page. But what I would suggest you do is apply with a resume, first of all, and then we will come to you, and then we will start the full holistic working with you and supporting you in terms of creating that resume and really strengthening your application for that role. If you don't see anything that is of interest to you, which is quite likely because our roles change on a daily basis, bookmark our website. Take a look every week or so, maybe twice a week, to see the new opportunities that come up, or you can join our talent pipeline. And what that means is we send out communications on a weekly basis with our new roles, but we also search that pipeline when we get new positions in to see if we have anybody that has said they are interested in that location and then that career field. So it performs a dual faceted approach there. There was one other question I wanted to acknowledge. Herbert has asked, is this only SkillBridge? Today, we're just talking about SkillBridge, but we at Hire Military support all of those transitioning from active duty, as well as veterans and military spouses. So we are a staffing agency that has SkillBridge internship opportunities, as well as permanent jobs in corporate America. And we support you on both. So just to underline that, if you've just joined it, throughout the middle and you don't know what we're doing and you don't know why we're here today, we have made this a SkillBridge special, but ordinarily we do support both the direct hire side or share the information on the direct hire side as well as SkillBridge. Somebody else has asked, and I forget who it was, but can we talk about interview techniques moving forward on another one of these? Absolutely. I would take that feedback and we can do that next time. So to come back next week, we will talk about that next week. And there was one more thing I wanted to share with you today. If you were here last week, you would have heard us talk about all of our newest opportunities that we have with the Army TAP program. We have been incredibly fortunate to have been awarded the ability to support TAP within the Army and recruit for some of the staff on site. Now, we have placed a lot of the positions that we were given last week, but as of tomorrow, we will be getting a whole lot more. So what we would encourage you to do, if that's something that's on your radar and you've always wondered about working in the transition office on an Army installation, but you've never quite known how to get in there or how to do that, I would encourage you to do two things today. First of all, drop a comment below and just say, tap interested. That means I will get in touch with you at some point later this afternoon or tomorrow. The second thing is take a look at our website right now, hiremilitary.us. Under the job search and job opportunities, you can see the roles that we have been recruiting this past week. And that will give you a steer on the job titles. There's education counselor, transition counselor, financial counselor, but also a steer on the salaries as well. They are all government mandated. It is a gov contract. So unfortunately, we are unable to set those, but I want you to have that information and that due diligence and intel up front so you know what you possibly might be, applying for or getting more information around. But we are on the half hour now. We are at 2:30. I just want to say thank you so much to the SkillBridge team here, Amber, MC, and Buff, for spending your time with me today, sharing information around SkillBridge. It's been so enlightening, and I just love hearing the questions that people ask us so that we can share those with our audience here. On behalf of Hire Military, thank you for spending the last 30 minutes with us. It's always a pleasure, and we will see you again next Tuesday. Bye-bye for now.